Welcome to the Power of Pages, where we review books that ignite your mind,
elevate your life,
and drive your ambition. And I go by Ty.
I'm Mr. Fly.
And this episode, we are reviewing What's Your Dream by Simon Squibb.
I'm a product of hard work.
Yes.
And I think you're a product of hard work. And
Yes.
even if now we're at stages where we can delegate and whatnot, I had to work hard to get to that stage.
Yeah.
And I will never tell someone don't work hard.
For the right viewer watching, this book will change your life.
There aren't motivated and unmotivated people in life, but there are healthy and unhealthy motivations.
Being disadvantaged or coming from a struggle is an advantage because you can draw on that pain, you can leverage that.
And the truth is, most of us underestimate ourselves and overestimate the world.
People think someone's gonna steal your idea and take your idea. No one is taking your idea. The idea is not the thing, it's the execution. Now Simon Squibb, he's blown up on social media. He goes around asking people with his microphone, what's your dream? And I thought about this.
Yeah.
You know, have you thought about what's your dream?
This is gonna sound corny. Obviously, I read it and I did think about it. I think I'm very close to living my dream. So
yeah.
But it sounds corny saying it. It sounds cliche. But yeah. So I have thought about it. Obviously, the book triggers you to think that, doesn't it? What about yourself?
I think, you know, I would answer the same, but I feel more in terms of I'm working towards my dream.
Yeah.
I would probably say I'm working towards my dream rather than living it, because, you know, my dream is, in theory, to inspire people consistently, regularly, every week, and empower people, motivate, encourage, all of that good stuff, and get paid handsomely doing it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Which I do, but not as often as I'm working towards.
Yeah. I guess my answer is more based on, and I think you might agree, it's like, for me, it's more of a journey than a destination. So I think I'll always be living it, because the dream is to be dreaming and to be doing it, and it's a journey. So I never want to get to that point where, you know, when they say, oh, you know, we spoke about this before, and I say this quite often, like, you know, go and retire on the beach with a champagne, and that sounds like a living hell to me. Do you know what I mean? I don't think so. I would always be doing something. Yeah. And so I think it's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah. Okay. So starting with the book, you know, we're not going to talk so much about Simon Squibb. We'll talk about the book. Obviously, it's his book. Yeah. So in relation to his book, he starts off the book saying, you know, if you're happy in life and content with where you are, this book is not for you. This book is for those who want more.
That's funny. That's interesting.
I like that at the start, because it's kind of like, you know,
stating his intentions.
He's stating his intentions. Look, if you think there's more for you out there, you know, read this book. I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to hopefully inspire you. But if you're happy where you are, you know, don't read it. And I think, you know, when I watch his videos and see him, when he goes up and asks people, when people say they're happy and stuff, he kind of just leaves them alone.
Oh, does he?
He's like, yeah, what's your dream? And they'll say, you know, yeah, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. He said, oh, congratulations, you know. And then he'll switch it to maybe asking them how they found their purpose. You know, give some advice to the other people watching. Okay. So I did like that from the start. I don't know what you...
No, I mean, I don't really remember that part, to be fair. I don't really... I've watched one or two of his videos. I've seen him... you know, I think he's had a few videos that have gone viral and stuff like that. So I've seen him kind of fleetingly. I remember, I think one time you sent a video that I watched with him and another guy, but I'm not really familiar with him. Obviously, I knew about this book, but so I don't really know. So now you say that, it kind of makes sense as well. Reading the book, from my opinion, it's like, now it makes a bit more sense. So I must have forgotten that part. Yeah. But no, he's definitely, I like people that, you know, one of the things I like to say is like dreams to reality. So I'm very much into like, there is always more, there's always more to do. You need to, don't limit yourself, you know, what you can conceive, you can achieve and whatnot. So I definitely buy into that narrative, you know.
Yeah. I think for the right person, for the right viewer watching, this book will change your life. I think for the right viewer. It's not going to change everyone's life, but if you're at a particular stage in your life, like I said, you're searching for something, you want more, you want to start a business, this book is life-changing. Go on, disagree.
No, it didn't hit me like that, to be fair. There's plenty of books that I would recommend in front of this book that I think would would change someone's life. Like,
Yeah, okay.
to be honest with you, the kind of thing you gave it today. I think for me personally, I didn't see, there was only one chapter that really jumped off the page to me about purpose. That was a chapter that I really enjoyed, that chapter. And I think that was like chapter 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Before and after that, it didn't really catch fire, man. It just seemed a bit like, it seemed a bit of a lot of fanfare, but not a lot of context.
Okay.
No substance, sorry, not a lot of substance. I don't think it went deep enough into actually how to set up a business and how to do this. It seems a lot like, a lot of stuff you see on, and he's a YouTuber. Like, I don't know how he classify himself, but would he say, is he a YouTuber? Or?
Yeah, I mean, he's a business guy that he sold his business, he exited that, sold it for more money than he ever needs, which he always quotes, and now his dream is to inspire people to start their own business and break free from, the system, if you like.
No, I think this book will definitely inspire someone, but I don't know if it necessarily, and whether necessarily give someone the actual tools to do something about it.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what I feel like I might be projecting a bit, because I know when I was kind of at the beginning of my journey, I think 10 years ago, I think I'd be like really gassed on this guy and on this book.
Exactly.
But 10 years ago, but I think what used to frustrate me a bit with things like this was like, okay, like, I'm here, ready to go. Give me the play. What's the actual play? Like, what? Give me some real game, like real game. Don't just motivate me. Give me some real game.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't really, I read through my notes briefly. There's not much game in here, I don't think.
Okay, and fair. I think that's fair. He gives surface level game.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things reading this, obviously we've both been entrepreneurs now for a long time. A lot of these were just reminders. But for people who aren't entrepreneurs and are at the start of their journey, these are actually crucial pieces of information, I think.
Okay.
So let's go for it. Chapter 1, he talks about the myths about life.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yep. Which I did like this.
So here was one myth.
Yep.
The harder I work, the luckier I get. That's a myth. That's what he's saying, Just because you work hard, it doesn't mean that you're going to become rich, you're going to become successful, you're going to get lucky. Yes, hard work plays a big part, but you could be a hard-working person in a supermarket and you're working the hardest. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to now go and run a successful business outside of that, right? It's the risk to go and try something else that contributes, or there's many factors that contribute to it, but the harder I work doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to earn lots of money, fulfill your life. For example, he talks about in his business, he started to delegate some of his tasks and he took a step back. He's like, I'm not going to work hard in the business. I'm actually going to step back and delegate, and then I'm going to go on holiday and take more time. And actually, when he was on holiday, he got the best ideas, and the fact that he was able to delegate things to other people meant that his business could grow. He wasn't working hard, he was working smart. He was working strategically. So if he decided to just stay, I'm working in the business, working hard, he's not giving himself the opportunity to grow. So I think I think what you're saying is surface level. On a surface level, to just say, don't work hard, okay, that we know we should work hard. Go on.
I just don't agree with that.
Okay, so you agree?
No, I don't agree, because I think I'm a product of hard work.
Yes.
And I think you're a product of hard work. And
yes.
even if now we're at stages where we can delegate and whatnot, I had to work hard to get to that stage.
Yeah.
And I will never tell someone don't work hard.
Yeah.
And I know now, and there's people that get lucky. There's people that get lucky where they get a lottery ticket, or they invested in this thing at the right time and it just busts, or there are some people that do get lucky. But I think it's all, like with most things, in most cases, hard work is something you cannot substitute. You cannot. So I think it's quite dangerous to tell people that it's like, just invest in this and just go on the beach, and it just reminds me of all these ads I see on YouTube, man. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, because again, it goes against my spirit. I'm a hard worker. That's actually the only talent that I think I actually have, that I work hard. So it's like, and the harder I've worked, guess what? the luckier I've got. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't think, look, it's too simplistic to say this is right and this is wrong. There's things that are right about it. I get what you're saying. You know, an example you gave, if you're just working in one vein, you can work very hard, you become very good at that one thing, but you can work and expand your horizons and whatnot. But I just think it's too simplistic, man.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a myth to me. It's
Okay,
not a
yeah.
myth to me.
Well, I took it slightly different to you because I think he's trying to say...
He's saying work smart, not hard.
Exactly.
I get that.
Work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
But smart work...
Which I agree with.
But smart work involves hard work sometimes. And I think maybe he missed that out or, you know...
It's too simplistic, man. Like, I agree with... If he said work smart, not hard. But then again, this is where, like, I'm thinking now with another hat on, maybe he's trying to be a bit controversial in the book. Maybe he's trying to make bold statements in the book because it gets us talking about it. Yeah. And as well, that's going to that's going to catch someone's attention. Yeah. But I just don't agree with it.
Okay, so did you write down any of the other myths?
Yeah, I wrote them all down.
Okay. Were there any that you did agree with?
Yeah, myth 2, that failure means disaster.
Okay.
Fail your way to success.
Yeah.
So I don't like... I don't want to be too, like, I'm coming for him too hard because but I didn't agree with everything he said. I agree with failure. It's not an L, it's not a loss, it's a lesson, sort of things. I've made loads of mistakes. I will make more mistakes as I go on, but you have to learn from those mistakes. So failure means disaster. It's true, you know, in school, you're taught, and he goes in on the school system, which I agree with some of the things he said as well. You know, in school you're taught that, or the narrative is that, you know, if you put your hand up, it's wrong, you're wrong. So you kind of feel that, oh, you don't want to be wrong, so you kind of hide in your box, so you don't speak much, X, Y, Z. So I agree that is a myth, or that's the incorrect thing to tell people that, oh, you know, making mistakes is wrong. You should want to make mistakes very quickly and learn from those mistakes. Because if you keep making the same mistakes over and over again, then you're going to hit disaster. But if you make a mistake and you learn from it and you do better next time, you've improved. Yeah. And then it keeps going on. So yeah.
So let's just quickly touch on that as well, because he talks about Jamie Oliver, who lost his 25 million. He lost 25 million closing down restaurants, and but he learned a whole load of lessons. Obviously, you'd learn a lot while losing those restaurants, and then he then went on to grow his business again, which then became a massive success. Obviously, 25 million is a big L to take, a big lesson to learn, but. He's, you know, everyone knows Jamie Oliver, or if you don't, you should. So yeah, failure doesn't mean disaster, is what he's saying. Myth 3 contradicts myth 1.
Avoid hard things. It's okay to avoid hard things.
Yeah, because...
Please continue.
Yeah, because he's saying, don't avoid hard things, you know, do the hard things. And myth 1, he's saying, you know, the harder I work, you know, it's not about hard work. So he's not saying don't work hard and don't do hard things. He's I think he's just saying, I don't want to stick on point 1 too long, but I think he's just saying, like, just because you work hard, it doesn't mean that it doesn't guarantee. There are other factors in play. But yeah, don't avoid hard things. Hard things are often much easier than we originally imagine. And I think I'm living proof of that for myself, and you are too. We both take on challenges that we, at the time, maybe perceive to be like, this is going to be crazy hard. We reviewed Tough Mudder, the book last, It Takes a Tribe. We both did Tough Mudder. I don't know about you, but I thought it was going to be really hard. Yeah, same. And it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. So don't avoid hard things. No.
I think I wrote this note down, and this is a saying that I like a lot. I don't know if you put it in the book, but it's relative to this. If you do what's easy, your life will be hard. If you do what's hard, your life will be easy. And I live by that. That is so true. Do you know what I mean? So one more time, if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. If you do what's hard, your life will be easy. And that is, I don't know if that's in the book, but that's bars. So that's how I run to the fire, man. Do you know what I mean? Find the hard things, and even the other one, possessions. Myth 4. I
love this one.
Possessions make you happy. That is a big myth. And unfortunately, the sad thing is, right, not everyone will because people will be like, oh, well, I'd rather be sad than a Lambo or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I saw a clip of Will Smith on Instagram, and he was talking about, you know, people talk about rock bottom. Obviously, a lot of people can relate to rock bottom because you've never made billions or millions. He talks about cliff top.
Okay.
And he talks about when you get to the top and you actually realise it's all fugazi. Like, no amount of cars or money or holidays or whatever it might be will make you happy. And then you have to go internal. It gets deep. It's quite deep, yeah. So, and that was like, I was like, raw, man. That's. He's talking from his own personal experience because he's from Philly. He made his way up. You know, whatever you think about Will Smith, he's made it to the top of rap, the top of acting. You know, he's a big superstar, right? Now, he's got to the top and realised that, oh my gosh, I'm still not happy. That must be so depressing. Because a lot of people, all I need is to buy this for my mum. He's done everything, anything you want to do, he's done it. And the thing with that was, I went through the comments, and I was like, well, people ain't ready for this, man. People, oh yeah, well, I'd rather be sad with a mill. I'd rather be sad in a Lambo. And I'm like, you don't get it. Yeah. So this one, I mean, I agree with this one, but possessions don't make you happy. And again, if you're lucky, the sooner you find that out, the happier you'll be. Yeah. Some people may never find out. Some people might find out sooner than later than others. So. Yeah, no, 100%, man. I live by that, really. Possessions don't make me happy. I don't. Anyway, but I want to talk about, he actually bought a Porsche. Yes,
because
I remember that.
He bought a Porsche, but he was anxious to drive it. And then the Porsche got scratched, and then he was just living. He felt like the car owned him. The Porsche got scratched, and then he had to go and get fixed. And then eventually he realised, actually, this Porsche is more headache than it's worth. Like, he took it back. It's like the idea of a Porsche was more intriguing than actually owning the Porsche.
And then the Porsche owned him.
And then the Porsche owned him. Yeah.
Wild.
You touched on, you like chapter 3. Should we?
I loved chapter 3.
Loved.
It was a big chapter, man. Purpose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Purpose, like, what's your reason? Like, what's your why? What's your thing? So that for me was, this one thing he said, he goes, the difference between working hard and working with purpose. So again, it's like, you can work hard, but I think if you're working with purpose, if you've got a big dream, what's your dream? If you're working towards something that's bigger than yourself, you're not gonna be tired. You'll be tired, but you'll keep going. You might have a bad back or whatever the reason it will be, but you know what, you're doing this. A lot of people, they use their children, their kids, or their family as their purpose, is they're doing this, they're not for themselves, it's something bigger than themselves. They're doing it for that reason. And that's what propels them forward and pushes them forward.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things I loved about this when he talks about purpose is when you want to do something, people always think, oh, I just need this. I just need some money. I just need X, Y, and Z. And I think, I want to big you up, man. And I'll be, let me take it back. Right, cool. I want to big us up, cool. Because you're living proof, I'm living proof of just starting something with a purpose without money.
Yeah.
When you started your organisation,
5 bills.
£500. You started with £500. And even you started off going and doing free sessions in the park for the community, and it was free. You might have needed some equipment, but you could have done those sessions without equipment.
Yeah.
So you just started off doing something. I mean, big up the production team. Look at our team here. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? It's purpose. Yeah. We're all doing something because we love doing it.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the messages from this book. It's like, whatever you want to do, you don't necessarily need money to get started. You might think you do, but go back a step.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that you can do? Right, you want to start, all right, maybe it might be create an Instagram account. You want to create an app. Okay, go onto ChatGPT. How do I create an app? For the viewers, I created an app. they don't know this. It wasn't very good, but I was trying a thing. I tried something. I created an app. I put it on my phone. It was terrible, but I tried it.
Yeah.
I'm not really trying to make an app. That's not my business, but I was just trying to learn a new skill. And if I wanted to make an app, I'm confident that I could do it if I dedicated the time and energy. But I did that just by going on Google, going on ChatGPT. How do I do it? Right, cool. How can I do it for free?
Yeah.
With no money. Go on this website, go on that website. You know what I mean? So it's like,
that's big.
If you're purposeful, if you've got a purpose, you've got a meaning and you want to do something, just take action. And you don't need anyone or anything to take the first step.
I think people struggle with that, man.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't know why. I mean, it's something I can't really relate to, But I understand and recognise that people do struggle with that for whatever the reason might be. And I don't think it's one reason. I think it's different and relative to each person. There was a quote in here that he said that I liked. And he goes, there aren't motivated and unmotivated people in life, but there are healthy and unhealthy motivations. And I agree with that, because I think people will say to you, like the gym, let's use the gym as an example, like, oh yeah, oh man, I just want to get fit before I go to the gym, or, I just haven't got the time, or whatever it might be. And those are all purely valid reasons. It's no judgment. But the same reasons why you're not going to the gym, someone has those exact same reasons and they do go to the gym. They've got exactly the same situation you're in, maybe even a worse situation, and they still make time to go. And the thing is, it's a hard pill to swallow. It's hard to recognise that, I'm just not as motivated to go to the gym as I am to maybe go to the pub or do whatever you do. And again, it's not judgment. It's just, you've got to be honest with yourself. And I think once you're honest with yourself, it's like, then as well, it's quite freeing, because like, I'm just not there yet. Even like with things that, like obviously I was doing a cold shower, I say, this year, I'm just not doing it. Instead of, I'm just not motivated to do it. So it's like, all right, cool. So I'm not doing it. I don't have to, it's just mentally for me anyway.
Give the viewers some context, because you just skimmed over that, man.
So cold showers, I was doing them for a period of time, and I decided I wasn't going to do it for a year. The year's up in October, and it's looming in the back of my mind.
Oh, you starting back in October?
I said, I said, October. Okay. I stopped when my son was born, because he's hard work. He's a cold shower himself. So I said, So I said to myself, you know what? I'm just taking a year off.
But I think, just to touch on that, it's like you realised now's not the time. Like, I want to do it for these reasons, for the perceived health benefits, the energy you get from it. But at this moment in time, this isn't for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You sound like my therapist.
But it's true. It's like,
no, but I know. Listen, this is my internal conversation. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, stop gonna do it. But again, going back to the original thing, I think we're all motivated to do something, or to not do something, or to do something more or not. So that, again, purpose will get you so far. And you'll realise, like, I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were talking about previous industry. They're now in the voluntary charity sector like myself, and they were speaking about a job that they were doing previously, and they're like, yeah, man, they were doing really well, really good job, really high paid, high powered job, but it wasn't fulfilling them. It's depressing. And I think that's going back to the original thing about possessions, it's actually worse. If you're making all this money and you've got the house and you've got all the things that you thought would make you happy, and you're still not happy, that's a sad place to be. Do you know what I mean? So with that, so they just became more motivated. I just want to do voluntary work. I've made enough money. People have helped and supported my charity because they want to get that, they want to do something good with what they've got. And that's actually, I've got volunteers that support me, and they're very passionate and purposeful with the help they give me, because it gives them something back as well. So, yeah, man, like I said, the book is got some very interesting points that it raises. Yeah,
you touched on why people don't chase their purpose and why they don't take action, and he talks about 7 blockers. Okay. There are 7 blockers in chapter 4. He says, I don't have time. I'm trapped. I don't need it. I don't know what. I don't know how. I'm worried what they'll think, or I've tried before. And he kind of just debunks them as the book goes on. It's like, what did he talk about? Davide, he's talking about someone who was trapped in their financial situation. He gave this guy, Davide, who wanted to set up a restaurant, he gave him some help with his brand name and getting him started. But instead of, did he give him money?
He did, I think, So he talks about, basically, just some context, he talks about different experiences he's had with people and that he's supported or helped out. Carry on.
Yeah, so I think, did he give him money?
I believe so.
I think he gave him money anyway. I think he gave Davide money to, don't quote me, I could be wrong, but let's just assume he did, to help start his restaurant business. He definitely gave him support anyway. But Davide, instead of setting up his business, he returned to Italy to pay off his debts. He didn't confront his problems back then, and they came back to bite him. So it was like, he was mentally trapped because of his debts. So it was like, all right, cool. Maybe your purpose is to start a book podcast, but you've got debts or whatever. It's like, all right, cool. my first step is to pay off my debts. All right, cool. How am I going to do that? Right, cool. Maybe I need to do an extra hour at work.
Yeah.
What's the plan?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, sometimes you need to take a step back. Like real talk, like talking from personal experience. Sometimes you need to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do a year, I'm gonna grind out, I'm just gonna work, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna do whatever you're gonna do to just sort yourself out so you can start from zero. So you're not starting from minus.
Yeah.
And that's what some people need to do, but you have to have that self-awareness. To be like, you know what, now's not the right time, my credit's effed, I've got no money, I'm in debt, whatever, I don't have a house, whatever the situation may be, let me pattern myself up and just get to a good level, to get to zero, ground zero, then I can build up from there. So, and that might take a year, that might take 2 years, that might take 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I didn't make notes for all of the 7 steps, but the one that I did make a note for was number 5, when it says, I don't know how. And again, this is true. The truth is, most of us underestimate ourselves and overestimate the world. And that is so true. Because it's like, I think what I've seen through my experiences with talking with all different types of people in different types of positions across the board, you realise that, everyone's just normal. And you might look at someone and their job title might be this. And you might sit in a meeting and think, this person, like they're not what you built them up to be in your mind. Same way, and this was something, I'm gonna go on something that I didn't like what you said. Same way you might see someone on the street and because they may look homeless or they may present in a certain way or be dressed in a certain way, you might think that they're something that they're not. And then they might show you that they are. They might show you how intelligent they are. They might drop some knowledge on you and give you some game and give you some good advice or whatever. You get the point I'm making. One of the things you said that I didn't like was only take advice from people if you want a life like theirs. And that actually got on my nerves. Because I was like, that's nonsense. Again, this is like, I don't know if he just throws these things out here because it's just clickbait or something like that, I don't know. But it's like, why would you say that? It's not, and then I thought about Jordan Peterson's book we read about, and he talks about, basically says you can take knowledge from a lot of different types of people. Like, that is bad advice. Only take advice from people if you want a life like theirs. That's nonsense to me. Because you could literally, I've had conversations in cab journeys, whether I'm on holiday or wherever, with an Uber driver or a cab driver or whoever, a taxi driver, and they've given me some real game, like some real good, some deep conversations. So if he's giving me, because I don't want to be a taxi driver, I shouldn't take his advice? That don't make sense.
Do you know what it is? I think if you read into the blanket statements and just take it for what the statement is, it's not right. But I think what I took from that is, don't just take advice from anyone. Don't just take, you've had it in situations, I've had it in situations where people are giving you advice and you're like, okay, I'm actually not going to take that advice.
Yeah, but is that because of the life they have, or is that because of the advice they're giving?
Okay, yeah.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Fair.
So that's, you're right, I agree,
not because of the life.
No, maybe he did just say it for the point of just saying it or whatever, but to me, and I think, you know why, people like this, you've got a responsibility. Because how many millions of books did he sell? #1 bestseller, a lot of people are going to read this, and that's just a narrative that I can't get along with, because that will have a young person in school not listen to a teacher that actually cares about them, or a youth worker that cares about them, saying, I don't want to be no teacher, why am I going to listen to him? That's how I see it anyway. Yeah. And that's not, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, fair. I never looked at it like that. So
okay.
So interesting.
Yeah, good. I mean, look, it's a talking point.
Yeah, it's a talking point.
Yeah, it's a talking point.
Let's go back to, for me, a positive.
Okay.
Because he talks about, if you need to unlock your dream, how do you find it? Like, what can you do to work out? You're lost, you don't know what you're doing. So he actually just breaks it down to 3 questions. What are my likes and dislikes? What is my pain?
Yeah.
And how can I help others? And one of the phrases he uses is give without take. Like me, he believes, when you just give and you put out energy, you give positive energy out there, positive energy comes back. You're just surrounded by positivity, and giving without take leads to opportunities, can lead to opportunities. Yeah. And then he also talks about using pain to fuel your desire to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And he was homeless at 15. He had his dad passed away at 15, and his mum told him to leave, and he said, okay, fine, I will. So then he left, and he's really used that pain of that relationship breakdown with his mum to fuel him. And I see it a lot in businesses and successful businesses. You know, there quite often is a reason. You know, there's a pain or there's something there that helps fuel them. Yeah. That means on the days when you wake up and you don't want to do it, that pain is so much that you're still going to do it. And I think this goes back to a quote a guy I saw. It was some kind of podcast, and in this in this example, it fits nicely. He specifically said he thinks that being disadvantaged or coming from a struggle is an advantage, because you can draw on that pain, you can leverage that.
Have we spoke about this? I feel like
I think we spoke
about this. I remember. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. Whereas if you've just had a comfortable life, what pain can you draw on? Where can you get that inspiration and that drive from? Whereas if you had a bit of hardship, you can draw on that to achieve whatever. So what is this pain? What is your pain? So I like that. You know, 3 questions, ask yourself, what do I like to do and what don't I like doing? What is my pain and how can I help others?
What I liked as well, what he did is he kind of demystified a lot of like cliche narratives that are out there, like the previous one about people overestimating what other people can do and underestimating what they can do. Then also in that same chapter, he said there's no such thing as a special idea in business, which I agree with. There's only a special ability to execute on it, which I also agree with. Because a lot of times people think, there's ideas are nothing about execution. You know, we both agree with that, right? So I think people overestimate the idea, and the ideas are great. Obviously, we did the Netflix the Netflix book we read recently, and then we watched his interview with Steve Bartlett, and in the interview he goes, ideas are just like, he talks about just they come and go. It's about, you can have 100 ideas. How many ideas do you have in a day? Do you know what I mean? Like loads of ideas. But it's about being able to execute, and everyone has good ideas, and everyone has bad ideas. And a bad idea might do really well because the execution's so great, and then a good idea might not do well at all. Why? Because again, execution's poor. So I think that's something people need to think about. It's about how you execute on the idea.
And also he talks about, you know, an idea is worth nothing until you start talking about it and getting help from everyone who could support you along the way. And this is one of the things. Ideas, people think someone's going to steal your idea and take your idea. No one is taking your idea. The idea is not the thing, it's the execution. Do you know how much effort it is to steal an idea, then go and try and implement it, and then make a success out of it?
And even if they do steal your idea, it's still not you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could try and copy your business, like bar for bar. I could go onto your website and take everything, do everything. I'm still not you delivering. Do you know what I mean? So it's not you. So that's also, I think that's quite freeing to people, because I know people in the past that, nah man, I talk about what I'm going to do. I tell people because I want to, you know why? Because I want to hear what they're going to say. And people give me, again, the advice, bro. People have given me some banging ideas. I'm like, sick. Get me
people who you don't want to be.
Do you know what I mean? But, because some people, I listen, man, I talk it. I talk it. And then why people will tell me what they think. People that I respect, I'll even ask them, what's your opinion now? What do you think about this? You're one of those people, I'll throw it at you and say, what do you think? Because I want to hear. I might not agree with you, but even me hearing you talk about it and me not agreeing with you further solidifies my belief in what I'm going to do. So that's a bonus. Or bonus B is you say this, and I'm like, right, you know what? No, he's right. Or yeah, she's right. So I do that with my wife a lot. I throw a lot of ideas at my missus, and we talk about things and whatnot. I think it's important to talk about it because otherwise you're just in a bubble in your mind, and then you just, you just get into that bubble. You need to let it out.
Yeah.
So
I think, the more people that you can talk to and get ideas, the better. I mean, I personally have mentors for my business, and I actually try and get different mentors for different things. And if I meet someone, you know, further along their business journey than myself, and they're willing to give me their time, you know, I'll tell them about things. Ask for their advice, get ideas from them. Sharing your idea, man, is
Can't
so
be understated.
Say that again.
It's not to be understated. Like.
100%, man. This is one thing I did think about, and I guess wanted to discuss. If you want to start a business, he said, don't write a business plan. That's what he says. If you want to start a business, don't write a business plan.
Sorry, what do you think about that?
I think you need to write a plan, but not a business plan. Business plan, go on.
Isn't that a business plan?
No.
Because is it a plan for your business? So maybe,
okay,
you get me?
Yeah.
So, all right, we're agreeing, but we're not agreeing. It's like, maybe not a conventional business plan.
Yes.
So, continue.
I think, all right, cool. No, let's talk it, yeah? This is our podcast, Power of Pages, yeah? Have we ever wrote a business plan?
No.
Have we ever wrote a plan?
No, but we've discussed plans.
Yeah,
we haven't written one. Yeah. Okay, no.
So, in this example, we're living proof of what he's just said. We haven't written a plan. We're just taking action.
Okay.
And I think that's the key message here is like, take action. Action before plan. You take action, you learn, you fail, you adapt, you grow, whatever. I actually think you should write some kind of plan because it helps guide you. It helps you work out the journey you're going. The conventional 30-page business plan, I don't agree with. It's too much. But you need to have a plan and revisit that plan. You know, every 6 months, a year, whatever, to guide you. So the conventional business plan, I agree with. Don't write a business plan, but have a plan. Your take.
What can I say? I think, going back to the example that you said about you and I with the Power Pages, I think I draw a lot on previous experience that I've had in business, and I've written business. I don't know. That's why I don't know the answer. But have you ever written a business plan? Have you ever?
Yeah.
You have. Oh, because of Prince of Trust and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you use it or do you use it?
No.
Okay. So was it just an exercise, literally?
It was an exercise to get me through their process and get me onto their mentorship scheme, etc.
Did you take any benefit? I did.
Anything? It helped give me some vision at the time, definitely, because at the time I was completely winging it. And so it definitely helped give me some vision and guidance.
Yeah.
And actually work out the numbers of what I needed to make in order to, at the time I was working part-time, in order to quit my part-time job. So it definitely helped. Was it the be-all and end-all of everything? No, but definitely it helped having that structure. But I would probably say, because of where I am now, a full-on plan like that is less needed. Whereas back then, when I was getting started, I think it was really good and helpful to have some kind of structure.
So you can, look, I don't, for Fit for Life Youth, I didn't write a full-on business plan, but I did write things down. So not conventional, because there's different ways to learn. There's different, there's a concept that I like is like the business model canvas. I think actually someone that you know actually first coined that.
Yeah.
I think I watched
Julian Ponan.
Yeah.
Shout out Julian, founder of Creative Nature. Well, they're not just chocolate bars, they're all kind of bars, allergy free. If you've got any allergies, Creative Nature, check them out. Big up.
And yeah, I remember you interviewed her, so and I took away from that. And that's something that I talk to young people about, a business model canvas. So I think there's different ways to do it. I'm not gonna say don't write a business plan. I think especially if you're at a further stage, maybe you can, because you're more experienced. But if you're at the beginning of a journey, I think you need to write things down. And it might not be your conventional business plan, cool, but you need to write things down.
Yeah.
And event for anything, the discipline, something that some people may or may not know. I've told a few people that I mentor about this. When I was working in one of the schools, I started work at 7. Yeah, I started work at 7, Breakfast Club. And I had a business idea in my mind of opening a car wash. I woke up every morning about 4:30, 5 o'clock before I started work, writing out a business plan. I didn't use it, obviously, I didn't do it. But the benefit I got from that was the discipline of waking up early before everyone in my house was up, before I went to work, banging out that business plan. It's still there now. if I wanted to go and use it. So that was good for me. Like, that gave me structure, that gave me all sorts of things, all sorts of benefits. So I'm not going to say to someone, don't write a business plan. It doesn't have to be your conventional one, but you need to write something down.
You need to have a plan.
You need to have a plan. And later on down the line, you might be able to because we can mostly get somewhere a lot quicker. Like, we might, a lot quicker with a lot less writing than we were 10, 20 years ago. But we still need to, like, we didn't just come out of the womb like that. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, okay. Let's go on to the power.
Okay.
Because, you know, I've took power from this book. What's your power of these pages?
I already said it, but I'll say it again. So the fact that there are motivated and unmotivated people, but there are healthy and unhealthy motivations. I think that is something that people need to really deep that and understand that, because you kind of do what you want to do and what you're motivated to do. And you're more motivated in some areas than you are in other areas, and it just plays itself out. You know, if I want to drink 1.5 litres of water every day, sometimes things might happen to motivate me, like if you have a health scare or something like that. But I'm like, oh yeah, what? But then I'm drinking, I don't know, a fizzy drink or something, or I'm more motivated. I am motivated, I'm just motivated in the area to drink fizzy drinks. I'm just not motivated enough to drink water. So I'm motivated, yes, but it's just where's that motivation facing? And that's what, I don't think people kind of understand that.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important.
So self-awareness really is kind of your power, like.
Well, that's the quote you put in, yeah. But yeah, being self-aware, just no, not even that. Just realizing that you are motivated, but then being aware to see where's my motivation pointing, and is that a healthy motivation or an unhealthy motivation?
Yeah. Okay. I think my power was kind of two. Was one, you don't necessarily need money to get started. If you want to start something, just do something. I mean, when we first started reviewing books, we was doing it on Zoom. We just was like, yeah, let's just go on Zoom and record it. The quality wasn't great, the audio wasn't great, but
even as well, sorry, just to cut it, even at the other end of the spectrum, when these big like these big business people, they don't use their own money. Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter, Chad Bowley or Ted Bowley, they don't use their own money. So it works on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, that was kind of my power. You don't need money. And the other one was tell people your idea. If you've got an idea, talk about it with people, discuss it, get feedback, get advice, learn, listen, because ideas are worthless without execution. Thanks. All right, difficulty and star rating.
Okay.
This was my book. I picked, so I'm going to go first. Difficulty rating. I didn't find it difficult. Nice, easy read, actually. I found it quite easy to digest. So I'm actually just going to give it a 1 out of 5. Yourself?
Difficulty rating, very easy. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that 1.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't hard at all.
Yeah, okay. When I finished reading this book, I was motivated.
Okay.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. If you couldn't tell from the review, I enjoyed it. And I actually think, despite some of the things maybe we didn't agree with, and you've probably helped me see, I didn't read it in the way that you've explained it, but you've helped me see, is that for the right person, this book is a 5. For the right person. That's not my score. For the right person, it better not, for the right person, I think this is life-changing for the right person. But for me, I've given it a 4. I've given it a solid 4. Yeah. Strong 4.
Okay.
You?
This book, and I said to myself, I'm not gonna let this conversation steer my.
Which you often say.
I know I often say, but I was.
And just quickly, I decided to be whole this episode for the whole number.
Well for Simon Squibb. It's a 2 for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, come on, bro.
It's a 2 for me.
No, I'm doing it to you, man. A 2.
Yeah.
You're taking the mic, bro.
It's a 2, man. It's a 2. I'd say to someone, don't read this book. Read the Lean Startup. That's what I would say. If you want to start,
you prefer the Lean Startup to this?
100%. It gives
the Lean Startup's a tech book. If you want to start a tech business,
structure. It gives you a structure though that you can apply across all businesses.
The E-Myth is, I would say, if you want to start a business.
What? You're right. Actually, yeah.
More than the Lean Startup.
See, get 2 of them. Get both of them. I was like, this book is not for me. Like, I don't know how much longer we got, so I'd be quick. It's not a business book for me.
It's an inspirational book to get started.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it is. It's an action. It's a take action book.
But it's not even take action. It's motivating.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're motivated. Where do I go? What do I do? At least with E-Myth, you got system. It tells you about learning systems. With Lean Startup, it gives you Lean Startup. Do you know what I'm saying? With this, yeah, I'm gassed.
So you're really giving it a 2?
It's a 2, bruv.
Yeah,
Because your birthday, I might do 2.5. No, 2. It's still a 2. Happy birthday to T. It's his birthday. He came to film on his birthday. Big up. Big up.
Well, you know, I'll disagree in there, you know. Anyway.
I'll beg someone, please, yeah, sorry, read the book here and just say who's right. I beg you.
Write in the comments.
Yeah, read the book.
And if you enjoyed the episode, you know, press the like and subscribe. And also, you'll probably enjoy the review that's on the screen now. But remember, this is the power of pages.
And we review books.
And next episode, we are reviewing The Trading Game by Gary Stevenson.